All right, our second big idea today is to stock our arsenal. We can kind of think of this as like our toolbox that we go to, that are practices that we have, that we engage in, like meditation or deep breathing or eating healthy. All of these things that we work on are tools at hand. Epictetus, the ancient philosopher, wrote a book called the Enchiridion, which really was translated to handbook. But what it really means is to have ready at hand. That the reason that we engage in these practices, the reasons that we meditate each day, pray each day, eat healthy each day, is so that when we face a crisis, when we are challenged, that tool is ready to use. If we don't practice it in the easy times, it's not going to be there in the difficult times for us to call upon. We need to practice our philosophy. And this should be individual to each and every one of us. That our philosophy is our personal values. What is it that speaks to us? And when we think of our best life, what are the values that define that life? And that it should be a process, a playful process that we engage in that is gently tugs us forward into our next best version, that is constantly evolving, and that there isn't a black or white, either I live by it or I don't live by it. We can celebrate along the way the journey, the progress that we're making towards it, and that oftentimes when we reach where we thought was our goal, we realize that that was simply the next platform for us. That when we reach that place, that our soul is ready for another layer of growth and evolution, and that that's exciting. And that as long as we hold true to our philosophies, and the more that we practice them in our everyday decisions and the micro moments of transactions that we have, how strong a foundation we have to then build upon to evolve to the next level. So this hand, during this class today, we can kind of think of these different tools that we'll be talking about as ones that you can put into your toolbox or into your warrior's arsenal or whatever metaphor speaks to your heart. And that you get to choose which of the tools we talk about really fits within your philosophy. Does it work for you? Does it not work for you? I encourage you to utilize what does work for you and to evolve each and every tool so it really speaks to you and it is your tool, that your toolbox is clearly yours and nobody else's. That everything is labeled with your name on it and it has this particular personality and flavor to it, whether it's you cover it in stickers or paint or it's black or white or all made of wood or whatever it is that makes it yours. That when you look at this toolbox and you use it, you know, and everyone who looks at it, oh, that's Claire's box. That's Claire's toolbox. That's Rachel's toolbox. That's Effie's toolbox. How do you create these so that they are uniquely yours? The more that you can personalize them and make them special and individual to yourself, the stronger and more effective they will be when you utilize them. Hey mamas, welcome back to the Heroic Mama Training Program. Thank you so much for your patience while I took the break that I needed to sort things out in my life, and I am thrilled to be back and excited to jump back into this material with all of us together. Today we're going to take a deep dive into Heroology Part 2, Tools and Training. How to prepare for our heroic quests, train like the warriors that lie within all of us, and stock our arsenal with the tools, provisions, and weapons that we'll need along our hero's journey. This will be the lesson where we take the theory from part 1 of Heroology and bring it into the practical, actionable steps that we can take to begin our journeys and support ourselves along those journeys. Before we get into the good stuff, let's just take a quick moment and take a deep breath in, down deep into our belly, and exhaling, grounding ourselves into this moment. And one more inhale, pulling the air in, feeling its aliveness, and exhaling with gratitude for this moment to connect and to share this wisdom together. Now open our eyes and we'll jump right into our first big idea, and that is to train like a warrior. This big idea is the juxtaposition between a warrior and a librarian. That a librarian is a cataloger of information, and we can get stuck just accumulating and becoming a consumer. And where we want to make a shift is to take us out of the librarian mode and into a warrior mode. That a warrior is a person, an individual of action. They train for a reason. They have something that calls to them, where they show up and they do the work to train and practice to close the gap between what they are capable of being and what they are actually being. That a warrior identity has a certain level of intensity to their actions. They often have a reason that they are showing up and doing this work. They don't just show up into the arena and randomly wave a sword around at anything. They are targeted. They have a reason that they're showing up, and they are training in a specific way. And this is where the information that we pull from being a librarian is helpful. By being a librarian and reading all of these amazing books and gathering all this information, we have a source of knowledge to pull from and to say, I wonder. And where we make this shift is where we say, I wonder what that looks like in my life. I wonder how that applies to me. How does that apply to my child? Does that fit in with my personal philosophy, values, who I want to become, and the values I want to live by? And then instead of finishing one book and then reaching immediately for the next book, which is a huge habit of mine, taking the time to really integrate and sit with the information that we just learned, and then take that into action and become a warrior of our lives instead of just a librarian. And if it's not a warrior identity that pulls to you, this is just a word that really inspires me. So if there's maybe another word that would inspire you to show up and to become the active creator of your life instead of a passive consumer and a cataloger of information. What is that identity for you? How does that speak to you? In what ways does it pull you forward and inspire you? I would love to figure out.